Hi everybody, my name is Carmen and I'm going to show you one way that you can add enemy lives to your game. So I'm starting with some base code here. I've set up a tile map, I've created my player sprites, and I've also added a second player to this game and set up projectiles. And there are tutorials for all of those game elements that can be found in the description. So again, today I'm just going to show you how to add enemy lives to your game. So let's get started. So the purpose of my game is to have two players kind of going against each other, one being the enemy, one being the player sprite, and the enemy will be able to lose lives in this game. So right now I'll show you what this looks like as it is. So both players can shoot projectiles, but nothing really happens. They both have their lives set at 3 right now, but again, nothing's happening. So I'm going to change that. And I'm going to start by using an overlap block. So on sprite of kind player overlaps other sprite of kind player. And I want to be able to take away lives from the players. So I'm going to grab a change life by 1 block. And so this specific code here is focused on the player sprite right now, so the duck in the game. And I want my sprite to be destroyed once it's hit. So I'll grab this one. There's an error here in this code, so I'm going to make a couple adjustments so that it reads as it should. So I'm going to change this here to enemy. I'm going to leave this as player, and then I'm going to take out the my sprite and replace it with sprite, so destroy sprite. So right now as this reads, when the enemy projectile overlaps with the player will lose a life and the sprite will be destroyed. So I want to do the same kind of thing, but with the player sprite shooting projectiles at the enemy sprite, which is our shark, and the shark losing a life. So I'm going to use the same overlap block. I'm going to grab the change life by 1 block and another destroy block, because I essentially want to do the same thing. So I have another error here. And one other thing that I'm thinking, so this change life by 1 is the same as this one, and above I actually made the shark a second player, so I'm going to need to change that actually. So I'll take this one out and replace it. And I want to replace it with the change player number 2 life by 1. So again, our shark is our second player in the game, and then I can add this one back. And I'm going to make some adjustments again. So I'll put projectile and boss, and I'll scroll back up. We've named the shark boss above. So that's where we get that from. And then I'll take this out again and replace it with sprite. So now this section reads, when the projectile of kind player, so the duck, overlaps with the boss, the player will be destroyed, so the second player will be destroyed, and 1 life will be lost. And so I'm going to test and see what that looks like. if you pay attention to the top left and right hand corners, so this one is player 1, this is player 2, and you can see that the duck has lost a couple lives already. So I'll move this around. So now the duck is at 1, and I'm going to restart and try to see if the shark will lose a life. Oh, and so there you can see it's lost 1, now 2, and it's at 0. My sprite around, and so you can see now we're both losing a life. And so now I need a way to end the game, and so I'm going to choose on life 0, and I'll just keep it simple and use the game over block. And so this is code for when the player is on life 0. So our duck is on life 0, then the game is over. And I want something that also says what happens when the shark is on 0 lives. So I'm going to use on player 2, life 0. And use the same. So if player 2 has lost all of his lives, that means I have won the game. So I'm going to change this from lose to win. And so for demonstration purposes, I'm going to slow this down a little bit and let's test it out. So the shark right now is down 2 lives. And at life 0 up here, you can see that now I win. I'll restart and let the shark win the game. You can see I'm losing lives here. And there we go. So I was at 0 and the game is now over, which is for this block. So I hope that was helpful. This is one way that you can add enemy lives to your game. Thank you for watching.